Welcome to East by West Farms. Here we grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Today I'm going to transplant some fruit trees. In front of me, I have quite a few different variety of trees, and these are all grown from seeds, basically from the fruit that we ate. And so to sprout this, I basically just let Mother Nature do the work. So I save the seeds or the pit that we ate from the fruit, and then leave it in the fall in the tofu boxes with potting soils. In spring, they sprouted, and I transplanted them in different pots. In Texas, fall is a good time to transplant the trees. Here, the weather is mild enough that the trees can still grow roots through fall and the winter and the spring. So it has a much longer time for the roots to establish before the brutal summer heat. These three are plum trees. I didn't have time to transplant this one, so it's still in the tofu box. And you can see how small it is compared to the one that I transplanted into a pot. I should have taken better care of them. The most important thing is they survived the summer. You can see some damages from the heat, and also we got lots of wind, so there's some wind damage. This is an Asian pear tree. It's in a small pot, and I see some damage, but the tip looks very healthy. So that's basically the fall growth. That is an apple tree. It's still small, but it's going to get bigger, hopefully. This is it's in a nice bonsai pot. I was trying to train it to be a bonsai. That's a pomegranate tree, but it actually, the main branch died off, and only the side branch is still surviving. So I will put it in the ground and let it get much bigger. If it's bearing fruit, I make it a fruit tree, or I will dig it up after it grow much bigger and make it a bonsai tree. Over here I have a bunch of pecan trees. I actually didn't grow this. I got this for free from our neighbor. Our neighbor has a pecan tree several houses down the road, and the squirrels collect them and put them in the yard. In spring, we have quite a few pecan trees that sprouted out. So I dug them up and put it in pot. Over here, the sun is too strong, and I didn't put them in the shade, so they have some sun damage. So far, they all survived the summer, the first summer. Hopefully, they will do better next year. So I got 4 pecan trees. And then here are the 3 peach trees. They are from the stones that of the peaches that we ate last year. Peach are very fast-growing tree. If you want to try your hand out on growing fruit tree, peach tree probably will be the first thing to try. Typically, is in 18 months, in 2 years, you will get peaches out of the peach tree starting from a stone. They are much bigger than the other trees. So I'm not sure whether next year we will get peaches, but in the year after we definitely will get peaches if we can keep them alive. Finally, I got this one. I don't know what kind of tree this is. It's actually voluntarily grown from a palm tree that I got from my boss. But it looked like some kind of fruit tree, so I decided to keep it. So this will be a mixture tree for us. So those are our success stories. But so I'm going to show you a failure. This tree is dead, and it's actually a chestnut tree that I sprouted from the chestnuts I bought from the Hala store. Chestnut doesn't have a very high germination rate, so I got 7 chestnuts and only 1 sprouted, and it was very healthy through summer. But then toward the end of the summer, we have 2 weeks of very hot days, and I forgot to put it in the shade. And this is what happened. It's kind of broke my heart because chestnut is hard to germinating, and this is the only chestnut tree that I got. So I guess there's always next year. In front of me is a patch of very dense sweet potato vines. This is an area that we didn't even have time to tilt or anything last year. I put some peas in here for the winter. It didn't do well. And then in spring, I put some moonbeans, and you can still see some of them. Eventually, they get taken over by the sweet potato vines. The best way to block out the weed is to have a plant that grow better than weed. And that is what the sweet potato vines are here for. They are so dense that they block out all the weed, and also it sent the roots down from the stem, from the vine, so that is very good for soil conditioning. I'm going to clear out a patch over here of sweet potatoes, and then I will show you how the soil has been improved over by growing the cover crop, and then I will put a pea tree right in the middle over there. All these sweet potato roots that are grown from the vine and get down to the soil. So I'm not worried about cutting the vines because along the whole vine there are all roots. So I can basically cut wherever I want to cut. Here is where I planted the sweet potatoes. I can see that this soil is much better than the native soil. Okay, this is so hard. So I'm going to see if we get some sweet potatoes or not. I can even move. That's a big one. I can just kind of loosen the soil very effortlessly. That's one. This might have another one. Our goal is not getting sweet potatoes. Our goal is to get loosen up the soil. Wow, this is really nice. I don't need much effort at all to loosen up the soil to get to my sweet potatoes. Look like I have some sweet potato here also. So this is the native soil. So you can see that on this side, as I get to a little bit deeper, the soil becomes very dense. That's the typical native soil you will see compared to the soil over here. That's drastically different. much better than I thought. Oh, that's another. Man, this is like landmine. Wherever you dig into like sweet potatoes. So now you can see how hard the soil is. I got most of the sweet potatoes out. I still have some of the small roots over here. You can see I'm just going to leave it, and they will either grow next year or they will rot and condition the soil. I was expecting to see maybe 1 or 2 sweet potatoes, and then that's it. So what you can see is a drastic difference in terms of the soil. Over here, now we are getting the native soil, which is the Houston black clay that come out. So sometimes if I do that, I get a huge clump that is very compact. Over here, just with 1 year of cultivation, we get about 4, 5, 6, roughly around that inches of topsoil already. I'm sure the peach tree will do well in here. Before I put the tree on, what I'm going to do is put some of this home-brewed fish emulsion over here. It smells terrible.
Oh my God.
I put it over there, and then
What did you put in there?
Then I cover it back up. Okay. I get my tree out of the pot. I remove some of the topsoil until I see the top roots. So it's actually grown very well in the pot. So it has very dense roots. What I'm going to do is just put it like that, and then cover the topsoil back onto it. I find my scissors. There's a huge difference between the topsoil over here and the bottom soil. And then you can see all these roots just add huge amount of organic material to the soil. The final step is I will water it really well. I still have quite a lot of area that is bare, and what I'm going to do is to put winter cover crop like fava beans or Dakin radish, any brassica family over here, so that we don't have bare soil. I didn't expect this at all. I thought we will maybe have 1 or 2 sweet potatoes and that's it. The one with the purple flesh, so it's actually very tasty. So we'll age it for 2 weeks and then we can start cooking it. For the smaller ones, I'm going to save it and then see if we can sprout more slips in spring. Next year, in the new orchard area will be completely covered by sweet potatoes. I'm going to cut all the big ones off and then bury it in the soil, and it will probably grow some leaves back. I put it in the greenhouse and leave it in the through winter so that we have another supply of sweet potato slips for the spring. The sweet potato is not the only harvest we got from here. We have a huge pile of sweet potato leaves and vines. I will sort through them. Obviously, by this time, you know that the leaves are edible. The stems that connect the leaves to the vine is also edible. So we'll get quite a few meals out of this. In this video, I showed you the soil that gets conditioned over the year by planting sweet potatoes. In addition to getting the peachy in the ground, I also got sweet potatoes and also sweet potato leaves. I will consider that's a big success. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, please leave it down below. If you have not done so, please hit the subscribe button to follow our journey with the East by West farm.